Fire Postal here. What are we up against here? Where? Luckily, we're against an XP-72. This pilot is really good, though. We'll see. I haven't flown this plane in a long time. I feel like I say that all the time. When you have...
Show me what you can do, pilot. Let's roll.
I don't have the most planes in the game, but I think I probably play the most planes in the game. And what I mean by that is, because I've been taking requests, what's happened is I'm playing planes that I don't normally play, which is fine, because I've kept them, I like them. But it means that, like, so playing a plane like this to get specialized, I haven't had the opportunity to. Because, well, just nobody's requested it. Which is a pretty bad reason to not play a plane. But we're gonna play it today, darn it. Excellent, so let's go ahead and we're gonna head to the center now. See if we can't get that. We've got both of the garrisons, both command centers, good grief. And we are pushing to get a third sector. If we can get this third sector, it'll certainly be a good thing. Let's go ahead and let's use all our rockets. We're just going to put all the rockets down there. I think we actually screwed that up. And did not get the last little bit. Yeah, this little stupid thing. There we go. As you can see, the J-21RB is very maneuverable, especially for a multi-roll. Definitely not the hardest hitting multi-roll. It has one 20mm cannon and a bunch of 50 cal machine guns. I say a bunch, there's 4 of them.
The enemy is concentrating forces near the airfield. Let's see if we can't get an assist here. Oh shoot, we've got Spitfire on our butt. Which means we're gonna be in trouble. Our friend here has knocked out our ability to heal ourselves. So can't get turned around quickly enough here. Got pneumatic control assist on, which will certainly help. Actually, we'll make it so that we win. Unfortunately, we can't heal up thanks to that XP-72 and his sneakiness. At least not for a while, so let's... Oh, now we can. Yak 9U. It doesn't matter what tier you are, don't go head on against the Yak 9U. Got a heavy fighter above us. The guns are probably the weakest thing on this. Keep in mind how maneuverable this is. Your rockets reload incredibly quickly, as you can already see. And you've got I mean, you're a jet, so you've got some pretty decent airspeed if you want it. Got this XP-72 behind me. Came up quicker than I thought he would. He's turning tighter than I knew he could. It's like the world's most turny XP-72. What is going on? Got our engine back. That's pretty nice. We're just gonna chill for a second here. Get some HP back. Versus fighter. LA-7, we can take him on. F3 here, get some support. We got like nobody over here. There we go. I'd like to get on the attack, but we got all kinds of ridiculousness going on over here. Looks like our XP-72 friend got knocked out, which I'm okay with, considering most XP-72s are not that difficult to defeat.
Not that guy. That guy was playing ridiculousness. Alrighty. We're gonna keep on keeping on here. Nope, we're gonna keep keeping on. I think there. Nope, Yak 9U. Don't want to mess with that. Not right now, anyway. Oh, so you went over here to capture this shenanigans. Somebody else got him. That's pretty funny. Let's go ahead and use our rockets while we've got them. Let's see if we can't. Where's all the planes, man? Did I literally not knock out anything there? That's pretty sad. Let's get this thing knocked out. Takes half a second. Get this thing knocked out. Takes half a second. Now we can go ahead and hit our freaking engine cooling boost. Stick with this guy, hopefully. This range, unfortunately, only my 20 is going to actually hit. There we go. Scoot closer to him. There we are. I think that XP-72 is inbound on us. Yep. Going towards him, so that way he overshoots. I think he's probably used to people that aren't paying attention to their mini-map. Should be a lot of other people. There we go. They got the center though, so we need to get back to the center. I mean, we've got 4 out of the 5 sectors, so we'll be fine as long as we continue this trend. Spitfire 14, come on, buddy. So yeah, I like this plane so much because it's a true multi-roll. It's not the hardest hitting, but most multi-rolls aren't. Oh shoot, we're gonna die, aren't we? And he knocked out my wing. Well, shoot. Just give me time to talk about the friggin' plane some more. Of course, it's right after Squall Line. First time I die. Anyway, I really enjoy this plane because it can do a little bit of everything. And beyond that, normally rockets aren't necessarily my favorite, but A, these rockets reload very, very quickly. And B,
complete control of the skies. Way to go.
Ouch, that.
Stay alert, pilots. Large enemy spotted over
B,
the
you can actually use them for air-to-air combat, right?
you, pilots. Back home.
They're not meant for air-to-air combat, but that doesn't matter when it's rockets. All you need is for one to hit when it's air-to-ground, and you'll do some significant damage or kill them. We were able to get a grade 2 here, 4 little chevrons. Conqueror. We also got our Flying Raider badge and our Lambert. Let's head on back. Alright, so pretty modest battle in my opinion. 11 kills, 20,000 ground damage, almost 13,000 personal points. This isn't the best game I've had in this plane. It's probably just a little bit above average, I'd say. And the only reason it's a little bit above average is because sometimes you will get stuck into battles with tier 8 or tier 9 planes that just counter you every single time and you're not able to really do anything against them. What you need to do in those situations, if you're going against a P-80A, let's say, or a Vampire, things of that nature that can outturn you, typically outspeed you, certainly out-altitude you, is focus on those other sectors and try to flip those, right? In this situation, we didn't have to deal with too much craziness. The Spitfire was a pain in the butt. Obviously, killed me in the end there. But if you're paying attention to the map and determining where the best sector for you to be in is, you can still have a pretty darn good impact. And that goes for any multi-roll. Keep in mind, any multi-roll is going to typically have an issue with a plane on the field that can go faster and a plane on the field that can outturn you. You just need to be mindful of where those planes are and what to do to counter them. Spitfire 14, I can typically outspeed. Not always, especially if it's specialized, but hey, that's why I'm working on specializing this particular plane. You'll notice, maybe, that I've kept this plane Swedish. It is European, it is on the European tech tree, which means that you can slap this plane, like any of these planes, into any nation. I could make this my British Tier 8 multi-role. Oh wait, I've already got a C-Fang. I could make this my American Tier 8 multi-role. Premium. I could make it German, I could make it Japanese, I could make it any of the 5 nations, right? It could also be Soviet as well. But I like the aesthetics of this plane. I like the paint scheme. I'm keeping it Swedish. And I don't know. I just like the way it looks, and I don't want to change that as far as the nation symbols. I'm keeping that. I always liked the way that they looked on World of Tanks as well. I don't have any Swedish ships on World of Warships, so I don't know if they've got the same symbol on them or not. But for whatever reason, I just really like it. Anyway, so I've kept it as Swedish, and I will continue to do so. What's really awesome about this plane is just how well balanced it is. It has, not the best gun armament, but it's right there in the middle. It has 120mm cannon, and it has these 4 50 cal machine guns. Added up, you can kind of do a little bit of everything, right? It has these ridiculously fast firing rockets. They fire in 1 minute stock. I've got it at 63 seconds, and we'll go over why in just a second. But cumulatively, they can do 16,000 damage if you're being very judicious about how they go out. I tend to just kind of throw them out without any real care. Just trying to get a sector flipped. But if you are more skilled at rocket fire than I am, you can definitely get some huge impact out of these. I got good impact out of them, but you can definitely get that even further. Airspeed's not too bad. Maneuverability is really good for a multi-role, but keep in mind you're not going to be able to outmaneuver things like Spitfires typically. Yaks definitely not. Zeros definitely not. Things of that nature. It can save you in a pinch, but it shouldn't necessarily be relied on. Definitely keep that in mind. Kind of play it to that strength. I kind of equate this to like the Yaks or the F4Us. Very maneuverable for multi-roles, but they can't necessarily outmaneuver everything by any means. And this kind of fits that motif. This is right in line with that kind of play style. Altitude performance is, the multi-roles in this game, the altitude performance is always middling at best. And this is definitely middling. Alright, so let's take a quick look here at how I've serviced my plane. I've actually gone all in on maneuverability. I'm not sure that's necessarily the best way to go. I definitely do not want to use and do not recommend using polished skin because it lowers your maneuverability. I'm tempted to put uprated engine on here first and then add improved lightweight power unit just to get a little bit more speed. I'm getting closer to specialization, so maybe that'll just kind of help, I'd have both of those eventually anyway. On the outboard weapons, what I have done is put the aerodynamic pylons on here. And the reason being is because the rockets do slow down they do impact negatively your airspeed. And so I've used and utilized these to kind of cancel that and continue to have some airspeed. Keep in mind it slows down your rocket reload. As we were talking about, my rocket reload is 3 seconds slower. But it's still really low in my opinion, so that's why I've gone down this path. 63 seconds is not going to make or break this plane, any different than 60 seconds would. So I want to help the airspeed as much as possible in this instance, and that's why I went with the aerodynamic pylons. You could conceivably go with the range of the rockets. These rockets have a 4,100 feet range, 4,200 feet range, which is pretty good anyway. I didn't feel the need to get more rocket range on them. And the outboard weapon reload speed, to do the strength and hard points, you could lower it, and I'm sure you could lower it, pretty significantly. But I didn't want to impact the airspeed. And as good as these rockets are, I personally don't use them like every 5 seconds. Every single time they're ready to go, I'm not necessarily ready to use them. So my focus was more on keeping airspeed and maneuverability over rocket reload speed or rocket range. You might have a different tactic when it comes to this plane, or any rocket plane for that matter. A plane that uses rockets, And so your equipment might be different, but I'm just giving some background as to why I did that. And of course, once I do specialize it, I am definitely going to use that improved armament, whatever it's called, for the consumable that'll help the damage on the rockets, because that is definitely going to be a big deal. Otherwise, I've done my standard setup for consumables. When I don't know what else to do, this is what I typically go with, but this is actually going to be the best thing for you on this plane. You want to have your pilot ready to go as quickly as possible. You want to, since this plane is very maneuverable, sometimes you'll get yourself stuck into a dogfight that you didn't mean to get yourself stuck into. This will help you get out of it. Your wings and tail don't get knocked out all that often, although we did see them get knocked out in this game. I don't typically have that issue. But again, your mileage may vary. There is definitely an argument for emergency control system to be used on this plane. To each their own. You're more than welcome to use that. The plane doesn't catch on fire very often, so exhaust bleed doesn't really make sense. Engine cooling is definitely the way I'd go on this particular plane. Again, the engine doesn't, even though the engine's rear mounted, and it got knocked out I think a couple times this battle actually. I don't typically have it get knocked out. If I continue to struggle with that, maybe I might switch to manual engine restart. But all in all, engine cooling is doing me really, really well on this plane, and I'll continue to use it until I'm forced to use something else. Improved mixture control just isn't impactful enough on this plane to use, so don't. And universal ammo, because I'll just use universal ammo all the time. It's not so expensive to where it's not worth it, if that makes sense. It's a lot of knots. It's worth the price. That's what I mean to say. So use it. No reason to use any gold ammo in this game in any shape, way, or form. I've actually just sold all mine and got like 2.5 million, so yay, thumbs up to that. I don't use the gold ammo, and the couple times I've used it, I didn't see a big enough improvement to warrant using it, and I'll just take the 2.5 million credits. So yeah, I'll take that. Anyway, this is the J21RB. I really do enjoy this plane. I like what it can do. It's excellent in a flight, as most multi-roles tend to really shine when they're in a flight, because you can have a partner that's either in a fighter or a heavy fighter that can, you know, take care of all the planes that fighters and heavy fighters take care of, and that kind of sections off what you have to worry about and what you have to deal with. Lets you kind of focus on what multi-roles do a little bit more. But if you're not in a flight, this is still a really well-rounded aircraft. A lot of fun, a lot of fun for sure. And one of the few tier 8s that, if somebody's asking about a premium that they want to get, this is one that I actually do recommend if you're in the mood for a multi-role. I definitely do not recommend this plane as a first premium plane in the game. All multi-roles I tell people to avoid until they've played at least a few hundred games, just until they're used to the different tactics of the game, used to a fighter's role and a heavy fighter's role. Since a multi-role needs to always be on its toes, you always need to know what you're faster than and what you're more maneuverable than, and more importantly, what you're less maneuverable than and what you're less speedy than, because that's the multi-role's job. All the time, every single interaction is, you know, thinking of that. Whereas if you're in a 0, like, you're never thinking about what can I outturn, because you can outturn everything, right? And so you're like half your brain's turned off basically in a 0 or in a 262, because you know you're faster than everything else basically. Whereas in a multi-role, you've got to have your brain on all the time, and sometimes you just can't out-duel an enemy plane. You have to outthink them and you know, capture other sectors that they're not at, kind of thing. So multi-roles are definitely not the way to go if you're new to the game, at least true multi-roles. But if you've been playing the game for a while and you're looking for a tier 8 premium, and this kind of fits your playstyle, this is definitely a great plane, especially since it's European and it can be put down as any nation. But just on top of that, it's an excellent platform. Anyway, enough rambling from me. I have started my vacation today, hot diggity damn, and yeah, so I'm going to go hang out with the kids, and we'll see if we can have a good day. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye.